Hello, my name's Harry, and I am here with international multi-million copy selling author Lucinda Riley, or as she does occasionally allow me to call her mum. Hiya, mum.
Hi, Harry.
Why are we here talking to you now? Well, essentially, we've just done our first day of narrating your audiobook, mum.
I know,
The
isn't this
Olive
weird?
Tree.
It is so weird.
It is very bizarre.
Yes, and it's also bizarre because it's got two names. It's The Olive Tree and Helena's Secret, depending on which country you're in.
Okay, well, assuming this is the UK, The Olive Tree is the one.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. So the novel is sort of told from two perspectives. It's told from Helena's perspective,
Yeah.
and you narrate those parts.
I do.
Of the
I
audiobook.
narrate. Well, in fact, I narrate every single part, except for one particular part, which obviously you do, which
Yes.
is Alex's diary.
You very kindly handed over vast swathes of the novel for me to narrate. Well, I think now's the sort of time to talk a little bit about the plot. So without giving too much away, is there any way you can summarise The Olive Tree for us?
Oh my God. Okay, 560 pages in a soundbite. It's about a woman called Helena who is married to a man called William, and they have two children, Imi and Fred. And they also have a son called Alex, and that is Helena's son from a previous relationship. And Helena inherits a big house in Cyprus from her godfather, which is called Pandora. And so the book basically is about when she goes back for that summer to see Pandora after 24 years, and she takes her family with her and various guests. And put it like this, when I say that her past catches up on her, that is an understatement.
Okay, I think you've sort of touched on it, but is there any sort of particular inspiration behind it? Because I will reveal to the faithful listener at this time, we did go on holiday to Cyprus when I was 13 years old. But I don't remember any of the drama that unfurls in the novel happening in reality.
No, there are various incidents, and of course, the kids are vaguely based on my own children.
Well, I hope not, actually. Because obviously I've spent the sort of whole day narrating the Alex part, and he's not great. I mean, he has some very, very different views. So getting back on track, not many people will know, but this novel has been 10 years in the making, almost. Well, not in the sense that you've spent 10 years writing it.
My God, I mean, I'd want it to win every single literary prize on the planet if it had been 10 years in the making. But
the first draft was written 10 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes,
and
it was.
That was in between the period when you had stopped writing under the name Lucinda Edmonds and gone off to have babies, and when you started again as Lucinda Riley.
But I didn't actually stop writing. So in other words, I wrote 3 books during the time when you were all young, in between sort of, nappies and play school and school runs and God knows what else and new babies, just basically to keep myself sane. And also because I am a writer who needs to write. And if I don't write, then I go slightly, bananas. So there were these 3 books sitting in my bottom drawer, which I just didn't touch really. And then, of course, I decided that I was going to, once the little one had gone to school, I thought, right, okay, I'm going to start writing properly again now. And so these 3 manuscripts just sat there for years and years and years. And then Hot House Flower was published, and that became a very big success. And then suddenly all these publishers are saying, well, what's happened to your backlist? And so obviously the backlist came out and has started to be republished, and I've started to rewrite it. And then it was like, well, I have got this book in this drawer, this manuscript. And so I just remember sending it off to my editor, who said she wanted to read it, the first 100 pages. And I was so nervous, Harry. It was ridiculous because it is very different to what I usually write, because it's a contemporary story. It's not a big historical epic at all. Look, you see, that's from all the sort of wear and tear on my throat today. And so I had no idea how it would be perceived. And actually, when it was first published a couple of months ago, I was so nervous about the reaction, because it is not what I normally write. And, changing direction slightly and writing something very, very different can sometimes be a real shock, because everybody assumes, it's the can of baked beans thing, that they're going to get the same Lucinda Riley as they'd had last time. And this is, as you know, Harry, very, very different.
Sure. Thankfully, the gamble looks like it's paid off. But what an amazing story. The fact that you wrote 3 novels that went unpublished and didn't give up after the first and didn't give up after the second or indeed the third.
Well, 2 of them I didn't even show to anybody.
Oh, really?
So, no.
That is interesting.
So, in fact, they are still sitting there, and one of them next year actually might be the sort of interim novel between
I look
the
forward
Seven
to being
Sisters.
sat here in 2017 talking about the publication of this mystery novel.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But what was really good about it was that I wrote this, which is a sort of family drama. I then wrote a detective novel, which is called The Blacksmith.
You've done a J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
You've
I
done
know,
a
but
Robert
I did
Galbraith.
I did it.
I did it before J.K.
I did, darling. I did. It's L.K., darling. L.K. Riley. So I wrote a detective novel, a family sort of drama, and then a sort of slightly more literary book. And it was like going on a little PhD all to myself, just testing out exactly what I wanted to write. And interestingly, I think that Hothouse Flower came from the fact that I had written all those 3, because I'd learnt so much from, writing in those different genres in different styles.
Just shows you that nothing's ever wasted.
Absolutely, Harry. I mean, look at us sitting here today. I mean, it's incredible. So you guys out there, if you've got a manuscript, if you've got a song, if you've got a dream, don't give up, because sometimes life does have a way of actually rewarding you if you work hard and you're passionate. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the times it does.
Would you ever consider writing something like this again? Because obviously what we've come to expect from you in recent years are these sweeping historical romance mysteries, past, present, time frames. Yeah.
I tell you what was really nice actually about Helena's Secret, because obviously I got it out and it was all sort of covered in dust and, old bits of cartridges and the bottom of my drawer. And obviously I had to rewrite quite a lot of it for my own satisfaction. And I loved it because I think it keeps you fresh. And the other thing is that because it is a contemporary novel, certainly with my past present books, I've always enjoyed writing about the past more than the present. For the first time ever, when I had finished Helena's Secret, and then I went to write the 3rd book in the Seven Sisters series, which is called The Shadow Sister, I really, really loved writing the present just as much as the past. And so I think, again, I think as an author, as in anything you do, you should always be trying to improve yourself, trying to learn, to get better, to, understand how you write. And so, I think that the present in The Shadow Sister is actually probably the best I've written, because I had just written Helena's Secret, or rewritten it.
Maybe a sequel for next year to Helena's Other Secret.
Yes, exactly.
What is her other secret?
Oh my God, is there any room for any more?
No, she's got a lot.
But I tell you something, Harry, what is interesting is that it's so much easier, sorry guys, to write a contemporary novel than it is to write a past novel.
Because you don't have to do the research.
I know. Well, all I had to do was go on a holiday with you lot, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then I had a book. So yeah, I mean, so much easier than trying to find out, the plumbing facilities of Oslo, circa 1876 or whatever, or Gaslight, or, what they ate in a particular corner of India or whatever. I mean, it was just heaven on a stick. It really was. So maybe my next book is going to be about a single girl who lives in a flat in London with a cat.
So finally, if there was one thing you'd like fans to take away from this audiobook, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. I think the atmosphere, probably. And also because the book is about a very common phenomenon, which is a family going on holiday. And all the sort of, everybody thinks about a summer holiday being this perfect couple of weeks or month, as it is in Helena's Secret / The Olive Tree. And of course, it never is like that. And, I mean, family holidays can be very, very, very difficult. And especially with the set of characters that we have in the story, because there's all sorts of hangers oners that know that Helena has got this house and so suddenly turn up on the doorstep. And you have the sort of usual friends who basically want to come wherever you are, and oh darling, I'll just pop in, be lovely to see you. I'm sure you can squeeze us all in, all four of us or whatever, e.g. the Liggers. And then you've got the sort of best friend who's just broken up with her boyfriend, etc. And then of course you've got Helena's deep and distant past that happened 24 years before. So I think that actually that's almost metaphorical, Helena's past, because I think a lot of secrets can be revealed on summer holidays because you are there together as a family, stuck together. And normally at home, obviously, everybody's busy doing whatever. So I think if you get on a family holiday, you're a great family. I really do.